Hi there, it's another beautiful day and you are joining us on the Casa Move TV show right here on Kasi TV. My name is DERRY Rebecca Minville and I'll be your host. Guess what? Today promises to be very exciting and very educative. I'd implore you, especially for our graduates, tell a friend to tell a friend. Stay glued to your seat. Join us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and today in the studio we have with me Elder Samuel Laye. He is the programs coordinator for OBS International and he is the church secretary for Central Assembly. You're welcome, Elder Laye.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm glad to be here.
Your pleasure is all mine. And the first time ever having a female panelist joining us, and she is a two-time General Secretary for Casa Legon. She is currently the National Service Personnel at the University of Ghana Institute for African Studies and a very young CEO of the Instroma Adventures. Miss Ruby Manko, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us and honoring our invitation. Today we are talking about national service. What is the knowledge of national service out there, starting from Elder Laye?
Okay, thank you very much. I think national service is a mandatory one-year commitment that the law requires from every graduate from an accredited institution. And so it is not optional. Once you graduate from an accredited institution, the mandate is that we all undertake a one-year service for the nation. And so it's an act backed by law, and it's fully enforced by the National Service Secretariat. Yeah.
Okay, great. Back to that, it's being constitutional and then the need for us to do it. Ms. Manko, do you think it's a pleasure for us to even go into it right after going into our tertiary education?
Yes, to me, I think national service is more of a preparation ground. It's a free ground for fresh graduates to come in and enhance on what they have learned in school. So yes, it's very necessary because you have that free ground. Nobody is correcting you or minusing you on whatever you do. You have the opportunity to learn and build yourself, and it's something that it's supposed to be enhanced on during. Yes.
Okay, great. Something that should be enhanced. Elder Laye, can you tell us some experiences you've had during your time serving as the National Service Personnel?
Thank you very much. And to add to what my sister said, I believe that we do not really get a hold of all the experiences and the skills we need in the classroom. And so national service comes in handy to give us hands-on experience and I would say relevant exposures to the world out there. And one thing also is that nobody can really tell what test life will throw at us. And so it is very, very important that we wholly embrace the National Service Initiative and pursue it with all our strength, knowing that there is something good there for us. And for my experience, I had my national service with the Produce Buying Company in Tema. It's a subsidiary of Cocoa Board. And coming from the background as an engineering student, I seriously wanted a national service so bad that I thought it would give me the opportunity to try something new apart from engineering. And so we went in there, and unfortunately I was taken to an engineering-based workshop, but that was not exactly what I wanted. And so it was a big challenge. Throughout my first week, I was really down because I felt, yes, it was just for a year, but 1 year can also mean a lot to a person's career path. And so I had to take a few steps to make sure it's changed. And eventually it was changed. I was sent to the technical stores where I was exposed to a lot of things and I learned so much. And I believe as we go on, I'll share some of these experiences.
Wow, wow. So to you sitting out there, he says he's going to share a whole lot of experiences. Still stay glued to your seat. Back to Miss Ruby, you are still in having your service, hoping to end somewhere maybe next month. What were your expectations when you were going in?
Okay, so I knew what I wanted, yes, and I was expecting to learn more on the field. I was expecting to build up myself personally as well. And generally, my experience has been very fulfilling. The Institute of African Studies, where I happen to do my service, have been very contributing to my academic knowledge and also to my work life. Okay, because national service has presented me the opportunity to learn more about my work ethics, my attitude towards work, and general knowledge that you need to know about your employers and how to work in a team. So national service gave me that ground, and generally it has been fulfilling, yes.
Wow, wow. Very, very fulfilling. But back to you again, can you tell us the major setback you were coming in, especially in working in groups or teams?
Okay, so when you're in school, some of your courses you have group works. So those group works help you learn how to work with other people. Some people may fall short in their deliveries and contributions, but it also helps you to know how to work in team. So national service gave me the ground to learn how to work in team. But generally, my setback, or I speak for all national service personnel, our setback has been the delay in allowance. That has been the major setback, the delay in allowance, because we started our service in September. Then the first allowance was paid in December.
Wow.
Yes, it was paid in December. I started in September, some others started in October. It was paid in December, and going forward, it's always delays. They pay 3 months or 2 months like backwards. Yes, so the general challenge has been the national service allowance.
Oh, so bad. But we know our leaders, government leaders are listening to us. We have potential leaders in the church and out there. Hopefully they are working on it, and maybe there might even be an increase. I guess we would all call in for an increase.
Yes, I heard there has been some discussions on increasing the national service allowance, but nothing official has come out yet. So please don't raise your hopes high.
But I think we have to pray. We just have to hope for it. Yes. Back to Elder Layi, you were telling us you had so many experiences to share. Can you tell us what was most beneficial to you during your time of national service?
Yeah, I think one significant thing was working with people who you felt you've gone to school more, who you felt you were qualified more than them. Getting the humility to work under them and to take instructions from them. Yes, I think there was a humbling experience. And one other thing was I learned humility on the job. Integrity on the job, I should say. Yes, because we were in charge of spare parts, we were in charge of logistics. And these were things that people can easily pick up. They were things that people can easily steal. Yes, but you would have to still maintain that sort of credibility and trust that everyone had in you. And also, so apart from humility and integrity, one lesson that I picked up was from one of the drivers. There was a time he got close to me and he told me, he used this phrase, it was like, yes, I'm massa, not a kill person. So to which what he meant was that listening, taking instructions from people and learning would do you no harm. Take this place as a training field, and even if you are not maintained, unless you would go out with something that is more than the job you would have gotten. And so I feel that these were lessons I picked up that have stayed with me for all this while. You see, the general expectation for service personnel is retention.
Yeah.
Yes, and just like any other person, that is how I went into this. I was hoping that I would be retained. But unfortunately, you see, it was more like a government institution. And for what I saw, I realized that unless someone leaves, yes, unless someone leaves, it's difficult for you to be pushed in, especially in the same office. And so you'd have to pray that someone goes on leave, someone goes on retirement, transfer, or in the unfortunate situation of death, then you know that you'll be considered. Yes, but I didn't get it like that. Unfortunately, nobody left, and so I had to end my service. But thankfully, I got a job even during, you see, there is 1 month for leave for national service personnel. And during that 1 month, I had my first job, and I feel it was as a result of the experiences I had from my national service. I worked so hard that there was a time that we had to move out for elections for district or national service presidents and coordinators and all that. I was the only person who went to job.
Wow.
I went to the work, and people were asking me, why are you here, why are you there, and all that. But I realized that there was, we had a challenge at the office, and I needed to be there because one of the guys had gone on leave. If I don't go, it will be left with one person, and the guy is really going to suffer. So I had to go. And at the back of my mind, it was not even because I was seriously bent on building the character. I was just working hard, so when they want to consider someone to retain, I'll be retained. But unfortunately, I didn't get that. And so I got something better than retention, the experience and the character that I was able to build as a result of my service.
Okay, great. With our core values coming to view, Ms. McCoy, can you tell us, or were you ever faced with a chance where your core values, your integrity, as he said, or any other moral views that you hold so high come into a point that you have to choose, in for it or out?
Okay, before that, I would like to talk about integrity.
Okay.
You did mention it. And there was one day in my office, our administrator called us to his office, Mr. William Masari. He's the Senior Assistant Registrar at the Institute of African Studies. So he called us to his office, and the reason is to talk to us about integrity. Okay, so these are things that you don't learn in the classroom.
Yeah.
These are things you don't learn in the classroom. He sat us down, taught us about the need to be integrate in whatever thing that we do. Okay, for people to be able to trust us with information, for people to be able to trust us with their time. And when they tell you that be there at 8, you'll be able to be there at 8. When they ask you to deliver something at this particular date, they know and they are assured that this person will be able to deliver it. He taught us about the need to have positive attitude towards work. And to me, that general experience where I did my service has been very, very contributing to my morals. Yes. And to talk about national service and where I'm doing my service, a point where I had to choose, I don't think I was faced with any points where I had to choose, because where I did my service, I'm currently doing it, has been very welcoming.
Okay.
Very welcoming and educative in enhancing my personal abilities.
Okay, we are very much appreciative of it. I hope each and everyone who is watching can also stand up to their morals, especially their integrity. But can you tell us, Elder Larry, how do you advise somebody who is watching us out there, especially in choosing the regions, the sectors that they have to go through in the pursuit of their national service?
Okay, so I would say that the first thing you would need to do is to first consider your aspirations and maybe your career path as well. But to use a scripture, I would say that in Luke chapter 14, I think from 28 coming down, Jesus Christ talked about considering the cost before embarking on any endeavor. He spoke about war, then he spoke about construction. Yes, and so I believe that for me, there's a principle that guides me. I call it the SAVE principle, S-A-V-E. Save, as in set agenda very early. So that is the principle I use to take some of these decisions. And so considering my aspirations and my career path, first I would look at which regions if, let's say, I want to work in the mining sector, I obviously would not choose Accra. Yes, because of my career path and my aspiration. And so these will guide you. And so it influences which regions you choose first. And then secondly, I would also say that the industry you want to work in also counts. Because if you are an accounting student and you want to work in an audit firm, what you would have to do is to take advantage of, you see, the companies, when it's getting to the end of a service period, they open, like there's a window they open for people who want to do service with them to come and write aptitude tests and come for interviews and all that. Once you have this information, what you need to do is to seriously look out for such opportunities. For that, you know you are going directly into that company. And so if you're able to pass those interviews, you know you are there. And also, for others who have been with their parents throughout their lives, I think service also comes as an opportunity to move out, to live on your own, and to have a few experiences all for yourself. And so once that agenda is set very early, you would not follow what friends are doing, because you know what your aspirations are, you know what your focus is, and that will guide you and influence where you want to have your service, which region, which industry, and all that. And so first set the agenda very early, even before you start your national service registration. Yeah.
Wow, that's a great acronym for us to keep. Set your agenda very early. Save. So, Miss Mankoy, can you tell us, Elder is much particular about he being in the job front. How about yours, you wanting to go and excel in higher education? How did you come by choosing Institute for African Studies?
Okay, so it was, I think, two factors came into display here, my now and also my future interest. So with now, I was very considered about how my proximity towards work, because currently I do stay in Kaswa, and I wanted to do my national service in academic institution. And I wouldn't want to be very far from home, because coming from Kaswa all the way to University of Ghana is very, very far. In the morning, you can spend not less than 3 hours in traffic. That means I would have to be waking up at 4 a.m. every day. So what I decided was I could try and get accommodation on University of Ghana campus if I'm doing my service there. And it's also a very good and prestigious academic institution. Okay, then the next question was, where exactly am I going to do my service at? Yes, and for someone who studied political science, I was very interested in African studies. Yes, so I decided to go to the Institute of African Studies to do my service there. And there I have learned more about research skills and more things that are inclined to African. Yes, and with my future too, I think I'm more of an academically inclined person. So I wanted to do my service in a place where would help me enhance on my research skills, on my writing skills, and also on my analysis. Yes, so that's the reason why I chose the Institute of African Studies. So I think if anybody is going to choose a place for their national service, they should be very mindful of the proximity towards work. You don't want to spend hours in traffic, you don't want to spend lots of money, which is going to be more than the allowance that are being paid at the end of month on transport fares. Yes, so you should really be careful about where you choose to do your service.
Okay. And Eldalai, taking a key from what Ruby said, talking about the proximity towards choosing a place for national service, what's your view about how you consider taking in accommodation, especially if you have the intentions, I want to do it at this particular region? How do you go about getting accommodation?
No, okay. Thank you very much. I think the first thing you need to consider is family and friends. You want to see who is closer to where you want to go. Yes, and with that, unless you are assured that you may get free accommodation, yes, probably get a free room or move in to stay with a relative or a friend. That's the first thing. The second thing is to look at the cost of accommodation in that region or that area. Once you know what the cost is, then you look at what you have and who can support you. Another point would be to go for the registration, because once you move into the region to register, you then meet people there. Sometimes you may meet colleagues from school who you didn't know had been posted to the same place. So when you get there, you can put resources together and get a place to rent. And so first, consider family and friends, and then move in there with faith, hoping that you'd get people who are also looking for accommodation. So you split the cost, and then you'll be able to get a place to live. And sometimes the work also, or the company may have a place for service personnel, especially for places that are outside Accra. If they know that it is difficult for them to retain or to get service personnel posted there because of accommodation, some people provide accommodation, and so you can, yes, or probably an allowance, yes. So you can get your enquiries and make sure that you have the information you need. I think the difference between those who succeed with what they want to do and those who do not is simply information. And so with the right information, you'll be able to make the best of decisions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Eldalahi. So in relation to taking decisions, how do you advise or tell people that, taking key from your experiences, how do you manage your finances? As a national service personnel, you don't get much. You don't get to save much, but how do you manage your finances?
Okay. So from my experience, like I said, I worked at the central stores. And central stores, you get suppliers bring in stuff. And so once they bring the stuff, you help them to pack it and you get money. And there's also, those days, we had an impress we were running with. And so once in a while, your boss would say, oh, go buy me wache and take the change. And so that is what we were living on. And you see, we had trucks in there, the trucks that go out to bring the cocoa. And for every truck, they had an assistant, or a mate, as we called it. And the mates were supposed to help with the packing. But once they bring the stuff, to the store, we move in as service personnel. Sometimes my other colleague feels shy. I move in as service personnel. I help with the packing. Sometimes you get there and they say, oh, bossu, like German Kwalano. But you can even go in and bring a sheet of paper and start counting. Nobody have asked you to count. But at the end of the day, they realize that what you did has helped the process. And so I was just doing anything I could do to help. And at the end of the day, I was also receiving a few tips here and there, and that helped. And another thing was that we were paid higher than the national service, what the government was paying. And so it also helped. And I would say that around that time, I was able to increase the money in my account than any other period in my life till I started working, because I could go for like 2 months and not touch my salary.
Okay.
And I was, of course, living within my means. I was not eating where the senior staff ate. I was not doing things that was beyond my means. And
Nothing.
yes, and so for me, I would say that is how I managed. Number one was that I tried to join the staff bus. Sometimes you go, they tell you it's full, service personnel are not allowed. That's why you are giving allowance and all that. But still, I get there early. And I try to push myself in just to save money. And so I believe that once we know this is only a temporal situation, we are going there for a year, we should also have a plan. Save more and make sure that between the time you finish your service and when you get a job, at least there will be something to live on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Eldalahi. Miss Ruby, what's your take on it? As a young lady managing finances, barely on something so small as the National Service Allowance.
National service, one thing it will teach you is to manage your finances. Yes, there is no school on how to manage your finances when you start your service, but you learn how to do it. you have to be very, very economical in everything that you do. As you said, you must not live outside of your means. You just get paid 559 at the end of the month, and it's even going to take more than a month for you to receive that money. So what do? You have to budget. You have to set a plan. Your week, your transport fare, your expenditure, your food, everything must be calculated so that you make sure that at the end of the month, even if it's not going to be enough or if you're not going to be able to save, it will be able to carry you through the next time you receive your next allowance. So I think managing your finances is very vital to you as a national service personnel. You don't want to be stranded in the middle of the month. You can't go and ask your colleague national service personnel for loans or something because they are all going through that. Yes. So I think we should be very economical as national service personnel and new people that are willing to do that national service at the end of this year. You should be very economical.
Okay. So our graduates coming in out there, please be very, very economical. Save as little as you can. Please do save. Back to you, Elder. You were saying something about you having to go on errands to buy wachi. You know, most people have this, especially graduates, having to come to University of Ghana, KNUST, UCC, and then having to go on errands to buy wachi, gobe, and stuff. Some feel it's a little bit appalling. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I think per my experience and that of other people I know, it depends on the, I would say, it depends on how you see work, and it depends on how you would want to give yourself up to be taught. And so for me, it was just as normal as anything. And because of how I carried myself, it was difficult for just anybody to call me and send me. Sometimes they wait till I tell them I'm going for lunch, and then they tell me to also get them something. And so it is part of the job. It is part of the job, because at the end of the day, your boss will be held accountable for work not being done, not you. And so sometimes they would want you to do the legwork whilst they concentrate on the most important thing to be done. And so I believe that you need to know that you are going to serve and get that attitude of a servant. Go in there. It is just for a year, like I keep stressing. It is just for a year. Know what you are going in for, and then give yourself up for it. People would send you, people will ask you to do things that you don't expect, but it is just for a while. And so just go in there and do what you are asked to do, and make sure that in doing this there are important lessons that you pick up. And so concentrate on the lessons you pick up there. And sometimes how you carry yourself around also determines if just anybody can call you and send you. Yes, you don't come early. Yes. When you are giving work, you press your phone and you do all that. When people look at you and you are idle, they will call you and send you. Yes, I remember one experience. We were preparing for audit. And so we were working on the vouchers and all that. And then I finished all the vouchers that I was supposed to work on. Then one colleague came close and said, "Masa, you are done with this. What work will you do tomorrow?" You understand? The mentality was that to keep themselves busy, when you give them work, it should take the whole week.
Oh, wow.
You understand? And for me, I just couldn't sit while there's work. I had to finish and move on. And so I believe that you should just be open for some of these things, but bear in mind that the way you behave and the way you act, that is how you be addressed.
Okay.
And so, yes.
And Miss Ruby, what's your take on it? A young lady in your heels, in your very nice dress, very corporate looking, and you are called to run an errand to buy wachi.
So, errands is not something that I would actually encourage for it to be done during your national service.
Was it very pleasant to you?
Okay, so personally, I didn't go through that much. As you said, how you carry yourself is also important. But that also teaches you how to be humble. Okay, because you are in your 20s, nobody sent you. You go to work and they send you to go and buy wachi. Yes. And it teaches you how to be humble. humble on the job as well and receive orders. But in the case whereby it's excessive, when you go to work, that's the only thing you do. You're either going to be doing printing at some printing press that is far from where you're doing your service, or you're going to be buying wachi, buying water and those things. If it's excessive, I think you should approach your supervisor and talk to him or her about it, that you would want to gain more experience on the field concerning the work that you're supposed to do, more than being sent to buy things, because that's not the reason why you're doing your service. So I think they should you should be able to talk and be expressive about it if it's very excessive. Yes.
Okay. But wouldn't that be as if you are asking for special treatment in the work front?
Okay, so as I said when it's excessive, yes, and it's all about communication. So you go to your supervisor, you talk to your supervisor that I want to learn more. I would want to be on this project. I would want to do this. I would want to take on this particular field. I would want to do this. The supervisor wouldn't tell you that you're supposed to be doing research. It's research time. Stop and go and buy me wachi. The person will know that you have something doing. If you're idle, that's when they're always sending you. So you have to be very active at work, very, very proactive, and very, very condescending at work.
Okay. Odalai, have you ever had an instance where you would have to work to a supervisor to rent out some things that didn't go so well with you?
Yes, so there were countless occasions where I had to do that. And just like my sister said, I believe that for a graduate who is having their national service, one of the things that we expect from you is to bring solutions to the problems that exist. And so one way to go about these errands is to, in a way, call for what everybody would want to buy as you go out. Yes. So from the beginning, it's going to be difficult, but you would have to stand your grounds and say that I'm going for lunch. What will you take? If you don't take it, you go and come, and someone else will call you. And so once you are able to start that, everybody will respect it. You see, people don't really value your presence until you are solving a solution, you are solving a problem. And so I believe that one way to go about this is to organize what people need. If you are the only person there, organize what they need, what they want. Once you go out, you buy it and you come back. And so they know that we work once, it's going to be something else. Yes. And so once you are able to do that, any other service personnel that comes after you would follow suit. And that is going to help. Unless when you are sent, you also use that as an opportunity to lazy around and do what you want to do for yourself. And so for a person like that, they would be interested in going out. Yes, they always want to get an opportunity to leave the office, because once they leave the office, they can be doing their calls and be doing whatever they want. But there is also another side. Assuming you are running a side hustle where people place orders and all that, you would want to have some time for yourself. Yeah. And when the errands come, you go out. That is when you respond to queries. That is when you call your delivery guy and all that. And so it depends on how you want it. There are people who are looking forward to be sent and they don't get any opportunity. When they get into the office, they work till 5 o'clock. Yeah. And so I believe that if you realize that the situation can't change, you go to your supervisor, you talk to your supervisor, and you realize that it still can't change, you look at how to positively use that to your advantage. Yes, like I said, you are in to bring solutions to problems.
Okay. And there you have it, viewers. As they rightly said, going on an errand might not be pleasurable to you today, but maybe you might pick in an experience that will help you tomorrow. We'll go in for a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Hello there. You're welcome to Casa Move TV right here on Casa TV, changing lives through Christ. We are at the University for Energy and Natural Resources, UNER in Sunyani, and we are here with their 10th anniversary celebrations. And there's a package on the program called Fire Conference. And today we hosted the General Secretary of Christ Apostolic Church International, Apostle Samuel Ampensa Frimpong to minister on the theme, Be Filled with the Holy Spirit. We bless God for such a great honor. And I have with me two members of the University Council. They want to share their experience of the program and their thoughts so far of what is happening. So I have with me here one lady and a gentleman from University of Energy and Natural Resources. Welcome to Casa Move TV. Please tell us your name and what you do in UNER.
Thank you, sir. I'm Miss Rachel Yabuanketia, Assistant Research Fellow at the Center for Climate Change and Studies under the School of Natural Resources. So I'm into research and I also teach.
Sir, can you please tell us about yourself too?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Thomas Satadakwa, a senior lecturer at the Department of Agriculture and Bioresource Engineering, and also the chairman for Chaplaincy Board.
You're also welcome, gentlemen. So, can you tell us a little bit about the 10th anniversary celebration and the program that is ongoing currently?
Thank you very much. UNER, by December 2022, will be 10 years. And as part of the celebration, we're having this fire conference. And today's program, I've been very blessed about the program. Looking at the word that was preached by the man of God, telling us that we are a generation of conquerors, and therefore we have to take our destiny into our own hands. And one thing that he really touched my heart from the word that he preached, he said that we are lions, that we can overcome the demonic lions in our families. So I've been blessed, and going forward, I'm going to face the demonic lion in my family face to face, and I'm hoping that by the anointing and the knowledge that I've received from today's program, I'm going to overcome the demonic lion.
Madam, can you tell me that one thing you picked from Apostle's sermon tonight?
Thank you. It's about empowerment, being filled with the Holy Spirit to strengthen you, to lead you, and even to guide your steps. So as young ones growing up, we are the future generations. Therefore, we need to think about the future. How do we conquer? How do we become the generational changers? And then again, as tutors, we also need it to impart it to our students, because we teach them, we give them the knowledge. Therefore, we need to be Christ-filled so that we can also impart them what the Lord expects from us.
So welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, so please tell us your name and what you do in the school.
I'm Heavenly Adomajin, and I'm a student of University of Energy and Natural Resources. Level 400, I offer actuarial science, BSc actuarial science.
Sir, please, what about you?
My name simply is Uncle George. I am not a student, I am an invited guest. I am here because of Fire Conference. Today being the beginning of the program, as far as Apostles' visitation is concerned, was so marvelous.
Yeah, so on that note, I saw you ministering and it was so wow. Personally, the song selections were so straight to me. You could see this is a well-prepared ministration. What is your secret about why you are delivering like that?
In the first place, whatever I was able to do there was by the power of God.
Sure.
And secondly, I am so much particular when it comes to ministration. By God's grace, we don't just select songs, but rather we always want our message we want to put across be explicit. We don't want to combine. You take this song from here. No. So we pray to God, and by God's grace, we were able to come out with such a selection.
God bless you. Please, what are you taking home tonight?
Okay, so tonight I learned that even though we say this generation is a crooked and a perverse generation, God has also said that there is going to be a new generation of which people are going to be holy, people are going to be glorious, courageous, and a whole lot of things. And all these are going to happen by the Spirit of God. So I learned today that even though my generation is crooked, when I rely on God, when I depend solely on God, just as Jacob did, I will be able to come out with a flying color, even though the generation is not perfect.
Powerful. So what is your expectation for tomorrow's program?
Okay, so I'm a lover of Apostle personally, and I was very happy when I heard that he's coming for Fire Conference. And tomorrow I'm expecting the move of God, nothing but the move of God, the glory of God.
God bless you. Minister, what are you telling those who are not yet here?
Man of God, the General Secretary of CAC, he's someone I personally have few videos of him, but he's so powerful. Man selected and chosen by God. So if God by this program has brought him to the land of Sunyane, then I am encouraging you and I'm divinely and beseeching the word, the power of God for you to be around tomorrow, because tomorrow I know the move will be awesome. Come and see the finger of God through the messages God is going to give us through his servant, the apostle, and your life will never be the same.
There's another great man of God here. Wow. You're welcome to Casa Move TV right here on Casa TV, changing lives through Christ. You are an integral part of this whole program and the organizing and everything. How has this been possible?
First of all, we give glory to the Lord for what he has done. I believe that the Bible says God makes all things possible through, in his own time. And so I wouldn't say, we wouldn't take the credit. We will give all the credit to God and the glory to God. But hosting a man in the caliber or in the class of apostle is something that if you want to host him, I was telling my brother that because we are in the Pentecostal cycles, that is why we have taken certain things so easy. But apostle is a heavy man, he's a great man, and so we needed to make sure that at least we make everything right and we put everything in place so that when he comes, he can get the right atmosphere and the right platform to be able to be a blessing to us. And so it has been possible by the grace of God and also through the master chaplain and the management of the university.
Wow. I want to know your real name and tell us what you do in the university.
All right, so my name is Pastor Bismarck Osei, but I'm a radio presenter. I actually present on the university radio called Greener FM. And so I'm popularly known as the radio apostle. And besides that, I am also a senior administrative assistant in the university. I am the radio pastor. So I present more on I preach the gospel on the radio to both the university fraternity and also the people of Sunyane at large, and make sure that by the grace of God, anybody that God will bring, we mentor, we counsel, and we help. So basically, that is what I do there.
God bless you. Apostle Samuel Amponsa Frimpong ministered on the theme A Generation of Conquerors. What did you pick from this sermon today?
I believe that the message was a very prophetic and apostolic at the same time, because I believe that God is raising men in this end time to take over from our fathers. Our fathers have done what they are supposed to do, and their time is elapsing. But God needs to raise a new generation of people that will take over from our fathers. And I believe that God is always, he always improves on the people that he uses, and I believe that in this end time, the caliber of people that God is raising is a generation that will not be afraid of the turbulences that the enemy will bring our way, but we are ready to face the enemy squarely, and we are ready to overcome the enemy. And we thank God that Jesus has already made it possible for us. So I believe that it's a prophetic message for the youth, and if you're a youth, you have to be excited, because you have to understand that you are a new breed and a new and enhanced version of our fathers. And that is why I believe that the message is a spot-on message. We are a generation of conquerors, which simply means that probably our fathers suffered, we are not going to suffer them, and we are going to do better than our fathers.
Bless you so much for having you, Apostle. We'll see you some other time. Interestingly, we have the National CASA Coordinator with us, the man through whom all this program is ongoing here. Thank you so much. Please tell us your name and your portfolio.
Okay, my name is Reverend Emmanuel Jensi. I am the humble servant for CASA.
He's the big man for CASA, the CASA International Global Coordinator. He coordinates all the student activities of Christ Apostolic Students and Associates worldwide. Thank you for coming again on the set. Please, what did you pick from tonight's session?
Okay, so tonight is the day one for the program, and it was so wonderful. Papa was just trying to give us the features of a warrior, the feature of a conqueror, and he spoke about a person must be persistent, somebody who doesn't give up. And that was so touching to me, because of late, the youth, everywhere you go, You know, I've been working with the youth for some time now. You get to a place, a little thing, and the person has given up. You see, when we went to South Africa, remember what the guy said? Ish, I'm fed up. And people are committing suicide and what have you. But it made this point very refreshing to me that as a Christian, as a warrior, as an overcomer, as a mighty man, one of our features as mighty men is our ability not to give up. Paul said, one thing that I do, burden, is that I forget about the past. I press on. You just have to keep pressing on. Isaiah 43:18 says, remember ye know the things of the past, neither dwell in them. Behold, I do a new thing. So let's forget about the past and let's not dwell in them. Let's not be weary and discouraged. As overcomers, we need to be strong and keep pressing on. And I also want to talk to whoever sees the flyer of our Papa. Wherever you see it, you have to be there, because this is a man of God, ordained by God, prepared by God for this time of ours. And what he's doing, what the Lord is using him to do. You know what the MC just said and what the doctor said. The professor is like, this is a combination of anointing and knowledge. Yes, so that tells you what we have received today. So I just want to encourage you, wherever you see our Papa coming, maybe you cannot come to Sunyani here, but wherever you see him visiting any of our branches, make it a point to be there and your life will be blessed.
Any special announcement, special information for us?
All right. So the special information we have is that, you know, currently you are part of the team that we came all the way from the wilderness to Sunyani to make this program happen. Yes, and God bless you, Pastor, for the sacrifice. From here, the team will go back to Accra. We are going up north, upper east, Savannah region, Oti. So we are going to spend additional 2 weeks. As soon as we get to Accra, that is September, we are preparing for the greatest leadership conference ever. Casa National Leadership Conference. It used to be Casa National Orientation and Leadership Induction Conference. But now we have changed the name to Casa National Leadership Conference. This is a program that you cannot miss, beloved. You have to be there. If you're a leader in the church, if you're a leader, a youth leader, whatever kind of leadership you have, you can make it a point to join. But let all Casa leaders, especially the new house that has taken over, be mindful of this program. Bookmark it on your Google calendar and what have you. That on the 12th, we are all repping live at Anakazu. We are going to tap into anointing. We are going to learn. We are going to learn about leadership. We have seasonal speakers. Dr. Prince Pambo from the Parliament Medical Center and then CAF Medical Center will be taking us through some features and qualities of a leader. And Mr. Boama from Cocoa Board, the HR for Cocoa Board, this year too is repping. And our General Secretary, Papa, will be there. Chairman will be there to anoint us. And the Christian Education Director will also be coming. There are others like Paul Adumoche who will also be featuring. So make it a point to be there. You can't afford to miss this program. And in the meantime, we are encouraging you that our clothes are also all over. Get some, sew a nice one. Tomorrow I'll be wearing mine. And also wear yours. Yes. And your beauty will increase. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being on set with us. All too soon, we are coming to the end of this session. Continue to stay tuned to Casa TV, Changing Lives Through Christ, and Casa Move TV. We have various packages of programs coming in, and so you have to stay tuned. Until then, I'm your humble servant, Pastor Michael Anti.
Welcome back, viewers. I hope you enjoyed the excerpt. Shout out to SCC UNED. Thank you very much for the honor of having to invite our very own General Secretary to grace such a program. Ms. Ruby, what was your take on what we just watched?
SCC did well in organizing the students to come on board for a prayer conference. I think in a situation where students are always fighting amongst each other, such things help bring them together. And also, thank you for inviting our General Secretary to talk on to be part of the show as well.
Aldalaye, what's your take on it as well?
Okay, so I would say it's an amazing experience, especially to get such men of God to come to campus. These are people you sometimes do not get in your local assemblies, and so such an opportunity is something that everyone would embrace. And so I would say that It's a wonderful time, and I would also want to thank the SCC for inviting our General Secretary. It boosts the morale on campus, especially for Casa members. Yes, having your church's General Secretary leading this movement or preaching at the fire conference, I'd say that it's a way of boosting the morale of Casa members on campus, and this will urge them to do more. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much, UNE SCC, for the wonderful invitation. And to the other campuses, our doors are open. Do call on us, University of Ghana, UCC, KNUST, ATU. We are ready and willing to answer every invitation you render to us. So back to the conversation. I'd like us to talk about personal grooming, preparing yourself for national service. Ms. Ruby, can you tell us, as a young lady, how did you prepare yourself, and especially with your outlook?
Okay, so personally, I was working part-time before national service, so I had a few official clothes lying down there. Yes, and we should know the difference between official dresses and casual dresses. In some institutions and some businesses, we are allowed to dress casually on Fridays. So Fridays you can put on your tees or trousers or sneakers or African print tops preferably. Yes, so personally I think I was prepared for the national service. So before your service, please try and go to Makola and buy some professional official dresses that you could wear to work on hand, yes.
Yeah, let me tell you a secret. You get up very early, around 5. And I quote, around 5, 4, thereabout. You go to Makola, 10 cedis, 20 cedis. You get something nice and chic and ready to go. Yes. Okay, so to our lovely viewers, if you don't have Makola, there's Kotokraba Market, there's KJTia, there's any other markets, just go very early. We're 10 cedis, we're 20 cedis. Just get something nice, iron it, no one would know. So back to Elder Laye, can you tell us a little bit more, especially for our gentlemen who are preparing towards national service?
Okay, so for men, the rule generally is to get at least 3 pair of trousers, black, blue, black, and gray, and get some shirts, like plain colored shirts. Get them and neat pair or decent pair of shoes, and then you are good to go. But it also depends on the industry you are getting into. If it's very corporate, then you'll be expected to always be in tie and all that. If you can't afford suit from the beginning, nobody would force you to come and suit. But you should know that once your dressing is decent, your haircut should be decent. It should befit the industry you're going to work in. And for those who would be privileged to work in places where there's already a prescribed uniform, for them, you know you can save a lot when it comes to what you wear, because you will not be required to wear anything that is not prescribed. And so for gentlemen, mainly it's about how you look, especially your hairstyle and your beard. Just trim it, let it be very kempt and very decent. And once your trousers are not sagging and with your usual autofista and all that, I think you are good to go. It's the workplace and you would have to come as such. Like we say, you are dressed based on your dressing. Yes, and so if the expectation is to be retained, then you need to come and come well.
Okay. Yeah, Elder, can you come back again on the view that most of our youth out there going in there will be having brown shoes, green trousers, red belts, maybe with a purple jacket? What's your take on it? Maybe they want to look very official, but how to blend it? Can you tell us more on the official look, official colors, which are very mild and accommodative?
Yeah, like I said from the beginning, you would want to keep not so bright colored clothes. Okay. You want to keep your traditional colors, your brown, your black, your blue, black, and your gray. And one thing also is that black goes with almost every color. And so you would want to make sure that, because you don't know how people dress in that office, you want to go in there being very careful not to overdress. And so you have to keep it moderate. Make sure that your colors are matching, your shoes are matching, your belts and all that. And so basically it shouldn't be something that you are doing to impress someone else. It should be within your means, but it should follow the prescribed way that the institution expects you to dress.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for the great service. So, Miss Ruby, can you tell us a little bit more about how to prepare for life after national service so that we don't end up being redundant?
Okay, so life after national service begins from life in national service. You shouldn't view national service as employment. You should see national service as a program to help you train yourself. Okay, so whilst you are doing your service, start writing up your CVs, start looking up for vacancies, talk to friends and families about your interest, about the work fields you'd want to go through. People finish their service and they are now Googling how to write CVs. Okay, so that's not the best way to go about it. If you don't want to be redundant or remain jobless after service, going to stay home for your parents to still take care of you after school, what you have to do is to start writing up your CV, be active on social media channels like LinkedIn, be active on there, update your profiles and send CVs out. Okay, what happens when you get an employment offer whilst you're doing your service? It's two things. If you've gone ahead, as in you've done several months of service, like 8 months, you can talk to your supervisor about it. You've gotten a job opportunity and you want to take it. Then he would tell you the ways to go about it. Okay. You can go to NSS office and tell them you want to end your service after 8 months or after some period of months. I think there's a specific period
6
of months.
Compulsory.
Yes. So afterwards you can do that. You don't wait for the 1 year to end before you are looking online, looking for job vacancies. Yes. So to remain non-redundant, you have to be doing these things here.
Okay. Odalaya, please, what's your take on it?
I also believe that your period of national service is when you start preparing. You don't wait till service ends before you start preparing. And so the duties and responsibilities that are assigned to you, you start taking note of them and learn how to articulate them and how to write them in your CV. By so doing, you'll be building your CV and getting yourself ready. And also during national service, you want to look around for opportunities to start something for yourself. That would at least keep you between when you finish and when you get your next job. It can be in your office, in the community you find yourself in, or something that you believe the company, a problem that you believe the company is not solving. An example is, I had this friend who worked with a microfinance company, and they were giving loans out to people who were working in the formal sector. And one day his supervisor told him, have you seen all these women selling on tabletops? They also need money, but the organization is not in a position to serve them. If you can get something small and start giving it to them and go around and take it from them daily, you'd be able to start something for yourself. And as I'm talking to you now, my friend has been able to pay his law school fees, is now a lawyer, and he's still continuing with that business. And it's something that is an idea that he gained from his supervisor during national service. And so I believe that the opportunities around you, you can as well. For me, I believe that for those who go outside, let's say in villages and in rural communities, you can start keeping diaries, you can start blogging about your experiences and all that. And in this day of social media and people wanting information, I believe that that would also serve as a way of generating income for yourself, and also help promote the communities and help people who would want to have their service in that community. Unless they watch your videos, they read your blog, and they know what's happening in that community. And so it's an important period in your life, and you have to really make very good use of it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. So in your submission, you concluded that at least we should get something doing that will last us between the time of after national service and then getting a job. So you're probably introducing or encouraging going into entrepreneurship. So back to Ms. Ruby, you're a young lady into entrepreneurship, a travel and tour. Can you tell us how beneficial it has been to you?
Okay, so I started in Shoma Adventures in March within my service period, and because I'm very close to it, I closed around 6, 7, and from that time till I sleep off, there is nothing much to do. You just go online, go on your phone, you just roam on social media channels, or maybe reading news and those stuff. So I decided to do something for myself, and what came into mind, what I've always wanted to do was traveling and touring, going to places I haven't been there before, and discovering the undiscovered things. So I just decided to make something out of it, to register a company on my own, like start something new on my own. I spoke to mentors, I spoke to people who were already in the field to know more about it, to get advice on that, and also want to put on something. So we organized trips. Recently, we even went to Inzlezu in the western region of Ghana, in Zima. And next month, we are going quad biking in Epd Botanical Gardens on 21st September, which happens to be a holiday. So on your free time, what do you do? On your free time, you're on your phone. Fine, be on your phone, but try to make sure you're looking for something you can also do on there, online, to get a presence as well.
Wow, great. Thank you very much too. It was very, very innovative on your side. Elder Lai, did you also get something doing that ushered you into life after national service?
Okay, so for me, I would say that what I currently do are skills that I picked up during my national service, and also as a result of what I do in church. I haven't really found myself in a position where I had to use the skills I acquired from school throughout my working career. These are soft skills that I picked up from church and also during my national service. And by the grace of God, I've been able to start a few things. I run an online media company, and this is a skill that I picked up during my national service because my boss then was a devout Christian. He was always looking for stories and news online, and the challenge he had was he was not getting stories that are originally from Ghana.
Okay.
Yes, Christian stories that are originally from Ghana. And there were no dedicated websites that were solely for Christian activities. And so that idea came up, and that is how we started Praise Catalog.
Wow, yeah. Wow. Please, can you tell us, as members of CASA, going in to do our national service, how can we all come on board to help push forth the Casa Move, the Casa Takeover agenda?
Okay, thank you very much. So based on conversations that I've had with the National Casa Secretariat, the Secretariat has now putting together a database of all service personnel who are Casa members. And what this is supposed to do is to position them strategically in communities. As they do their national service, they would also get the opportunity to help local assemblies or local churches to help strengthen their administrative structures, most especially looking at the area of finances and that of general church administration, because we want to get credible data to take very relevant decisions to advance the cause of the church. And so we want to leverage on these service personnel as our human resource and our contacts on ground to help push this. And these people would also serve as a source of motivation to the locals in the local church. At least once you have a graduate if it's a community where people do not really go to school, this person serves as a motivation and can even help to teach some of these people. And so we no longer want service personnel to go and sit idle. We want to engage them, so we push the agenda of the church forward.
Wow. Thank you very much, Elder Lai, and a very good step on the side of the CASA administration, CASA National Administration. We thank you very much for this innovative move. And to you out there, I would employ and beseech you, as CASA members, wherever you are stationed to do your national service, as he rightly said, please find church service over there. There is always a branch of CAC wherever you'll be posted to. Go out there, serve as a motivation to others. Okay, so lovely viewers, we've come to an end of this session. I would like to say a very big thank you to Elder Lai for coming in with us today. Thank you very much for coming, sir.
Thank you too, and I'm most grateful.
Yeah, amen. And also, Miss Ruby, actually, Miss Ruby completed University of Ghana with first class honors. So, congratulations to her. She's
Thank you.
currently running something on her own. Can you tell us a little bit more? Anyone who wants to patronize your services?
Okay, so you can just go on our IG, Inshuma_Adventures, and see any of our upcoming packages and trips. We are going quad biking next month. In October, we are going to Keta for Splash, and in December, we are going to Lomé in Togo. Yes, so you can just directly contact us there. Our contact details are there, Inshuma_Adventures. And thank you for having me today.
Thank you very much for coming. So to you, each and everyone out there, especially CASA members going in to do their national service, we'll beseech you, please, wherever you are posted to, find a CAC branch and attend. Maybe you may never know, your time there, your experience there will be beneficial to the church and will even have impact on the lives of people. We thank you very much for coming in to join in with us. Hope to see you next week.